Well, good day, folks. Welcome to the MB Wildman channel. On today's video, just real quick, I want to talk to you a tiny little bit about what to do if you've got to freeze your fur to process it later on. So inevitably, there comes a time in my season, I don't know about yours, but inevitably, there's always a time where I either don't have time to get the fur processed or, we just did the fur pickup and all the fur is gone, but yet it's still season. And then you come back and then you check your traps and boom, there's a nice fox, there's a raccoon, there's a coyote, there's whatever, and you've just shipped all your fur. It's like, okay, well, now I've got to store it until I either want to, the next pickup, could be ages away, or maybe even need to get a permit and store it until next season or whatever. So there comes a time when you're going to have to freeze fur. Maybe you're the type of person who runs all your trap line until the season's basically over and then preps all your fur at once. I got a buddy of mine here in town. They do a lot of coyotes. They trap 100, 150 coyotes a year in traps and snares. They don't process any of them. They just hang them and freeze them. And then at the end, they get them all ready to go. Okay? So I want to talk to you real quick about what you do if you have to freeze your furs to process later on. Listen, if you haven't yet subscribed to the MB Wildman channel, we sure would appreciate it. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you like the content we're putting up here on the channel, go ahead and hit that bell. You'll get notified when we upload new stuff. All right, so here we go. I just caught this nice big raccoon, and I'm not going to process it. The fur pickup is done and gone. It is still season, but Elliot and I have decided that we're gonna anything else that we get this season, we're just gonna bag it, freeze it, and we'll get to it, next season. We'll get our cold storage permits at the end so that we have, the right paperwork to keep stuff. Over the course of the year, please check with your local stuff about keeping fur. But for us, we kind of know what to do. So here we go. All right, first thing is first. When you skin with the idea that you're going to freeze this in the end, the first thing to note is don't flesh it. Don't prep it for drying or whatever. You want to leave as much. You can check this one out, right? So obviously, if you've ever skinned, if you're watching this video, you've skinned a raccoon before, most likely. But you've got this nice thick layer of membrane and meat and some fat on that raccoon. You want to leave that on there. It's just another added extra layer of protection that will help these animals, help these furs not to freeze or burn or to lose them in the freezer. The thicker the layer of fat, the better, okay? So even a beaver, if I know I'm going to keep a beaver and I don't clean skin it, I try to just rough skin it and leave that nice thick layer of meat and fat on the beaver pelt so that when I put it away, I know it's got that extra layer of protection. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that you want to make sure that the fur itself, right? So you want to make sure that the actual fur is nice and good and dry. You don't want to put anything away wet. Okay, so when you skin stuff, lots of times, it might be a little damp or it might be wet if I got a few to do, but you want to make sure that the fur on the outside is nice and dry, okay? If it's not dry, don't freeze it yet. Wait till it dries out, brush it dry, whatever, get it dry before you put it in the freezer, okay? So that's the first thing. I guess that's the first two things. Make sure that the fur is dry, and you want to make sure that you leave a good layer of fat on there from the processing. All right. Next, we're going to turn it fur side out, like I have right here. Nice big raccoon, good looking coon, and we're going to put it in the freezer. So I lay it out. Once it's fur side out, I lay it out and I tuck the tail up near the belly. Just like this, okay? So tuck the tail in the middle, as such, okay? And then I start to roll it, tuck the legs in a bit, and then I start to roll it from the tail side toward the nose, okay? Now I do this for a couple reasons. I try to squish it down to get as much air out as possible, and I do this for a couple reasons. The first of which is the bulk of the high value fur on almost every animal that we process is the belly, the back, the hips, across the shoulder blades. That's where the nice fur is. That's where they grade most of the fur. If you think about the way that they're going to grade this raccoon, there's a cut in the belly spot that shows the fur that's on the back once it's processed, right? So you cut out a nice inspection window so that fur handler, that fur grader can pick up your raccoon and look at that back fur. That's where it's going to be that's what's going to give it its grade. So you want to protect that as much as possible. By rolling from tail to nose, you add layers and layers, right? As many layers as you've got of protection for that top quality fur, for the best fur of this pelt. Okay, so you want to make sure that you protect that as much as possible. Also, what this does for me, I wrap it right around and I tuck the nose right in here. Okay, right in the face, comes right over the top. And that's how that's going to go. I do this for another reason as well, not only to protect the fur the best, but when I take this out of the freezer, I've got one of these little hooks just like this, right here. And what I do is I literally take this out frozen solid and I hook that hook right under that nose, just like that. I hook it, and then I hang that up on my skinning gamble. And as it thaws, it just continues to unroll as it gets thawed out. So as it unrolls, I can step out, take a quick glance. If it looks like this, it's not ready for me to go. If it's completely undone, then obviously it's ready for me to start the fleshing and boarding process, right? So by doing it that way, I've got a little hook that I can use, and I know as it unrolls, it's unthawed. Okay? So, roll it tail to nose. I grab a bag. I just use, if you know my channel, you know me, I'm cheap and simple. So, I just use garbage bags that I buy at the dollar store. Cheap as possible. I do not use the scented ones. I don't get the ones with like the Glade stuff or the Febreze in them or whatever. I just use an absolute cheap garbage bag. Drop that fur in there, get it right to the bottom. Close it off. Squish as much air out as you can. That will help with freezer burn as well. Okay, squish the air out. Now, you can either use a couple of bags, or you can just twist this and then fold the bag back over itself. Basically just double bagging it. I want to make sure there's at very least 2 good layers of plastic bag over that fur. And if you can do it a third time, then great. If you can't, that's fine. You can use another bag, or you don't really need to, as long as you got a couple of layers of fur over the bag. I buy the tall kitchen bags, and that allows me to basically go over, flip, and then tie. And I've got that good little bundle just like that, ready to go. Okay? Next up, I'm going to want to label the bag. I label the bag for a couple of reasons. Number one, raccoon. Number one, I label the bag so that when I'm taking stuff out, I know what I'm going to process. That puts me in the right headspace. If I take out a couple of frozen raccoons, I know what I'm up against. If I take out a raccoon and a fox, it's a different thing, right? So depending on how many boards I've got, how many stretchers I've got, what I've already got going on, I know what I can take out of the freezer because it's labeled. The other thing is, if I don't keep an accurate record somewhere else, or I lose the record, or my brain, whatever, when it comes time to get a cold storage permit to keep these after the season, I can quickly just pop the freezer open, check out my bags and go, okay, there's 2 raccoons, 3 foxes, whatever, and then I can get my cold storage permits based on what's written on the bag. It's just a smart thing to do, so you know what you got in the bag, I guess. That's pretty easy. Last but not least, I will caution you, this stuff will not keep forever, okay? The fur will freezer burn, it will. The stronger, thicker pelts will last a fair bit longer in your freezer. I have no problem keeping a beaver, a coyote, a raccoon, no problem keeping any of those for a full season, right? So you're getting near the end of the season, you're not going to send any more fur, you want to keep it to next season, get your proper legal permits, and you can keep these in your freezer until next season, no problem. Animals with a thinner skin, things like a fox, things like a weasel, things like a squirrel, things like that, I would hesitate to keep those animals as long as some of the thicker skinned ones. But for the most part, you can keep anything 3-4 months, whatever it takes to kind of get you back into that cycle of, skinning and fleshing again, or when the sale comes up, or maybe you're only going to keep it for a couple months. It doesn't matter. But I wouldn't keep anything personally any more than a season. 8-9 months, or whenever it comes time to the season to roll around again. So anyway, that's it. After I get this bagged and tagged just like that, all rolled up nice and neat, I pop that in the freezer, and that should keep me until Elliot and I pull that out next season to get ready to go. Anyway, just a couple quick tips, and I hope this is something that helps you out. So until next time, happy hunting from the MB Wildman channel.